It's always a good idea to check your brake pads whenever you're changing your brake fluid and bleeding the system. If the pads are worn and need replacing, do that first. That way, you'll know exactly where the brake fluid level should be once everything is finished. Brake fluid can be pretty nasty stuff, so take a minute to protect any painted surfaces around the bike. And if you want to be extra careful, you can even remove the gas tank completely. We're going to start by removing the reservoir screws, and be careful here because these screws can get really tight. And the last thing we want is to strip them. Once the lid is off, remove the plastic insert and the rubber diaphragm. And try not to spill any brake fluid while doing this. Now, let's take a look at everything we'll need for this job. 2 syringes with hoses, 1 syringe for removing the old brake fluid, and the other syringe with a longer hose for pumping fresh fluid into the system. We'll also need an empty bottle for collecting the old fluid and, of course, fresh brake fluid. First, we're going to remove most of the old brake fluid from the reservoir. This creates room for the fluid we'll be pushing up from the caliper. Next, fill the second syringe with fresh brake fluid, but before connecting it to the brake system, we want to get rid of the air bubbles inside. And to do that, hold the syringe upright and gently push the plunger until the bubbles rise through the hose. And do not worry if there is a tiny air gap right at the tip of the hose. That's perfectly fine. Now grab a wrench. In my case, I'm using an 8mm wrench. Place it on the caliper bleeder valve, but don't crack it open just yet. We're going to connect the hose to the bleeder valve and secure it with a zip tie so it won't pop off while we're pumping fluid. Once everything is connected, carefully open the bleeder valve. You might notice a little fluid moving into the hose right away. That's completely normal. And now comes the easy part. We're gonna start pushing fresh brake fluid into the caliper. The fluid will travel upward through the brake line and into the reservoir. As you're doing this, keep an eye on the reservoir. We don't want it to overflow. When all the fluid starts appearing in the reservoir, we're gonna use the other syringe to remove it. Then, we're gonna continue pumping fresh fluid through the system, and we're gonna keep repeating this process until the fluid coming into the reservoir looks clean and fresh. And the reason this method works so well is because air naturally wants to rise. So by pushing fluid from the caliper upward, we're moving any trapped air bubbles in the same direction they already want to go. And let me tell you, this method is way faster than the traditional pump and hold bleeding method. Once you're satisfied that all the old fluid has been flushed out, close the bleeder valve securely. Now, we're gonna check the brake lever. It should feel firm and responsive. If it still feels spongy, there may be some trapped air left in the system, and you may need to continue bleeding a little longer. When the lever feels good, adjust the fluid level in the reservoir. Remember, don't fill it all the way up to the top. The rubber diaphragm and the plastic insert take up space inside the reservoir, so leave enough room for them. Put the plastic insert back in place, then reinstall the cap and tighten the screws. And that's pretty much it. A quick, simple way to flush your brake fluid and bleed your motorcycle brakes with minimal mess and a lot less time. If you found this tutorial helpful, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe for more.